Hello, everyone! How about today? Let's hook this little bee doll together. The hook method is very simple. As for beginners, it is also very easy to get started. Okay, next, we officially enter the video tutorial. First, let's hook the little bee's head. Method of magic ring from 6 single crochets. Let's begin. So you start by running this little loop around your finger. Pinch the intersection with your right hand. Take it off and put the yarn on with your left hand. Pinch the intersection with your left hand. The crochet goes through the loop. Hook the yarn over. Wrap it around the hook again. What's next? We need to hook 6 single crochets in the loop. Let's take a look at how to hook the single crochet. Threading crochet. Hold the yarn down. Pull over. Then the 2 loops are joined together. This is a single crochet. After the first single crochet is hooked, we marked it. Single crochets are indicated by the letter X. Next, continue to hook single crochets. Thread the crochet and pull the thread. Then through 2 loops together. Next, continue to hook the 3rd single crochet. 4th single crochet. 5th single crochet. 6th single crochet. Okay, after the 6th single crochet is hooked, we also mark the last stitch because we are going to be a spiral crochet. So you need to mark it well. Then the first round is officially completed. Then we pull this little thread tail really tight. The first round is officially completed. Now we are going to do the second round. For the second round, we need to hook 6 increases. Single crochet increases are indicated by the letter symbol V. Let's take a look at the specific hook method. Thread the crochet at the position of the first single crochet. Through these 2 yarns horizontally. The end of the yarn is transverse to one side. First hook a single crochet. Mark it well. And then still in the first stitch, hook a single crochet. This is an increase. That is to say, it is equal to 2 single crochets in each single crochet. Now we're going to take the 5 increases in the back. So after we hook the second round, there are 12 single crochets. Okay, the second round is officially completed. What about after the second round? We still mark the last stitch. Now we are going to do the third round. The third round, 1 single crochet and 1 increase. Repeat the hook 6 times. Thread the crochet into the first stitch. Hook a separate single crochet. Mark it well. In the second single crochet, hook an increase. So that's a combination. For the third round, we need to repeat this combination. This whole round is hooked a total of 6 times. Hook a single crochet first. Hook another increase. So what about after this third round is hooked? There are 18 single crochets. Okay, we're done with the third round. Let's mark the last stitch. The third round becomes 18 stitches. And then we hooked round 4. 1 single crochet and 1 increase and 1 single crochet. Repeat the hook 6 times. A single crochet is hooked inside the first stitch. Mark it well. An increase is hooked inside the second stitch. A single crochet is hooked inside the third stitch. So that's a combination. For the fourth round, we need to repeat this combination, a total of 6 times. What about after the fourth round is hooked? It will change from 18 stitches in the third round to 24 stitches. The last stitch is hooked. Mark it well. Then the fourth round is officially completed. Next, we continue hooking the fifth round. The fifth round, we follow 3 single crochets and 1 increase. Repeat the hook 6 times. In the first stitch, hook a single crochet. Mark it well. A single crochet is hooked inside the second stitch. Then hook a single crochet inside the third stitch. Next, hook an increase inside the fourth stitch. It's a combination. How about our fifth round? Need to repeat this combination, a total of 6 times. 3 single crochets, then an increase. Okay. So what about after the fifth round is completed? And then look at the diagram. Hook all round 6 to 14. All right. We are now on round 14. Then we hook the 15th round. Stitch reduction required for round 15. We follow 3 single crochets and 1 decrease. Repeat the hook 6 times. What about the decrease for the single crochet? Denoted by the letter symbol. Let's see how to hook the decrease. Hook 3 single crochets first. After the first stitch is hooked, mark it well. Second single crochet. Third single crochet. Okay, next we hook a decrease. First through the front loop of the fourth stitch. Through the front loop of the fifth stitch. Pull the thread over and through 2 loops. This is a hook method of decreasing. So what's next? Let's repeat. Next, hook 3 single crochets. 1 decrease. Next, we need to repeat the hook. This combination, a total of 6 times. Let's look again. First hook 3 single crochets, and then we look at the decrease. Through the front loop of the first stitch, through the front loop of the next stitch, pull the yarn out, then parallel the stitches. This is a decrease. Next, hook 3 single crochets. Okay, it was hooked the second time. So what's next? Follow this method. Hook the 15th round. After the 15th round is hooked, just hook round 16 to round 18. Okay, take a look. We've done round 18. 24 stitches left on round 18. And then finally, we're going to make it longer. And then what happens is, we make the connection. Everyone finds the position of the first single crochet. Skip it. Thread the needle from the position of the second single crochet eye. Then pick the second half of the last single crochet. Go through it at the same time with the small loop below. Well, in that case, we'll just end to end. Just leave the tail of the yarn inside. Then fill it with a few fiber fills. The head of our little bee is done. Okay, after the head is hooked, next we hook the body parts. What about the body parts? We need to change the color. Well, first we start the stitch with the brown yarn. It is also the method of magic ring. From 3 single crochets. What about this method? It is the same as the stitches in this head. Crochet it in. Go around the yarn and pull it over. First hook a chain stitch, and then we ray in the round. Just hook 3 single crochets. After the first stitch is hooked, you can make a mark. Second stitch. Third stitch is good. Just hook 3 single crochets. Tighten the end of the thread. The biggest difference between our body parts and our heads. We need end-to-end rounds. Let's look at the method. Right on the first single crochet we marked. First hook a slip stitch in this stitch. Then hook the yarn and pull it over. Then directly put this loop. Take it to the back loop. Then we are connected like this. The first round is officially completed. Now we are going to do the second round. What about a new round? We need to hook a chain stitch first. Don't you ever forget that. You need end-to-end contact every round. Need to start hooking a chain stitch every round. Then continue to hook the second round. 3 increases. Just mark the first stitch. It's a combination. Need to repeat 3 times. The third increase. Don't hook it too tightly, otherwise it is not easy to thread the crochet. Then the second round is hooked. Let's look at end to end. Thread the needle in the first stitch. Press the yarn and hook it over. Take this yarn directly into the back loop. This is the slip stitch. After the second round is officially completed. What about when we hook the body parts? You need to hook like this. Every round needs a slip stitch. You need to hook a chain stitch at the beginning of each round. All right, just follow the diagram to hook round 3/8. Okay, we've now reached the 8th round. 36 single crochets. What's next? From the 9th round, we need to change to another color yarn. So here it is, mainly to show you how to change the yarn. We haven't done end-to-end on round 8. Next, we thread the crochet in. Then we plug in a new colored yarn. Hook this thread tail. Pull it directly like this. Then use a new colored yarn to hook a slip stitch. Make a connection. In this way, we have successfully changed the yarn. Then tighten the original thread tail. Then use a new color yarn. Just continue to hook below. How do I hook it? Just hook it according to the method illustrated. What about the brown thread? We don't need to worry about it. Just put this little new colored yarn at the end. Just hook it horizontally on one side, because we still need to continue to change the yarn later. Just put the brown yarn in place and leave it alone. Then change the yarn later. We can change it according to this method. On the last round of the previous color, the final stitch. Change yarns in advance. Okay, what about after learning the method of changing yarn? Just follow the diagram to hook the back part for it. All right, the body part of our little bee. It's already hooked. Then after the hook is done, leave a longer yarn tail. Then put a few PP cotton in it. Fill it up. Then we need to connect. We need to connect this head and body parts. The method is very simple because the last round of our heads, it is 24 stitches. So what about when we hook? Just sew one stitch corresponding to one stitch. Okay. Let's take a look. Directly corresponding. Put a stitch on the body, a stitch in the head. Because the number of stitches is exactly the same, so we directly follow the stitches to the stitches. Just sew this whole round. Okay, what about after connecting? Let's hook the tentacles. Make a loop like this first. Crochet it in. Pull down appropriately. Then we need to hook 9 chain stitches. What about after hooking 9 chain stitches? We're going to hook it backwards. Look at the back loop of this chain stitch. Through the back loop. Behind each chain stitch, all correspond to a single such loop. Every time we adjust this yarn, just use it as the part of the stitch. Thread the crochet from the penultimate position. Hook a slip stitch. Hook back in round. A total of 8 slip stitches are hooked. This little antenna is very simple. Hook until the last stitch. Take a look at this little antenna and you're done. Pull the end of the yarn over. Just cut off the part of this little antenna we need to hook to in total. So we've finished the tentacles. And all we have left is this little bee's wings and the blushing part. So the 2-part hookup is very simple. Well, what about the diagrams? Just hook the wings and blush on it. Everyone follow the diagram to hook. We take this 2 wing parts and the blushing part. The tentacles are all hooked. After the hook is done, we suture. The wings are behind the body. Just sew it up accordingly. What about this wing's location? Put some distance between the 2 wings. Just sew it up like this. It's attached to this body. So let's take a look. What about each one? We all left longer thread tails. What about when the wings are sewn? We must sew this double layer through this part of the double layer. Just sew him 1 stitch at a time, fixed in this position. What about after the wings are sutured? Let's put this tentacle again. Eyes. Just sew the blush in the corresponding position. Take a look. We sew this little bee's every part. Wings, eyes, and this blushing tentacle, right? It's all sewn up. What about after the suture? Where are we at the end? And I want you to trace the mouth with a black yarn. You can use this thinner one. What about this black yarn to out-yarn its position? It's probably just under the eye. Let's take a look at the process. That's it. It's very simple. And then threads the tail of this thread through the other parts. So what about after we yarn out the mouth? What about our little bee? I'll leave it all to you. Our video is done. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.